Now, as Eskom struggles to recover money owed by municipalities, the Tshwane Metro is switching off the lights of all those who aren't paying their bills. The defaulters include government departments and embassies who collectively owe more than 1 billion rand. eNCA's Barry Bateman was in Tshwane today. He spoke to Mayor Randall Williams.
We are obligated in terms of the municipal legislation to recover money due to the city. It's not something we can do voluntarily. We've got an obligation to do it. So we have been doing it for some time, but what we're doing now, we're escalating it to turn it into operations, become more visibly active so that people can see. And if you look at our debtors book now, it has ballooned to over 17 billion rands, and it's not sustainable. Businesses in the city owe us more than 5 billion rands. Residents more than 8 billion rands. And if you look at government departments and embassies and so forth, they owe us more than 1.3 billion rands. So we're going after all our debtors because they have an obligation to pay. You cannot consume for free. You have an obligation towards the city. How do we run the operations? How do we afford to run the operations of the city if we have no revenue due to the city?
The hotel manager here raised what could be seen as a reasonable issue, that since the beginning of 2020, there's been lockdowns, government-imposed restrictions on their ability to trade, which led them to the current financial situation they find themselves in. Is that not a reasonable appeal to please be easy on us?
Look, we can try and be easy if the city itself is in good financial standing. But the city is in a financial crisis. We need to get all the revenue in. You can see service delivery is falling. We've got less money available to fix street lights, less money available to fix potholes. This needs to change. And if you look at what's been happening all over the world, businesses have adapted. South African businesses will also have to adapt according to the business circumstances. They cannot now say, because there's COVID-19, sorry, for us it's business as usual, the city must just subsidize us. It cannot work that way.
Are you satisfied that there's sufficient capacity within your departments to be able to meet the businesses to reach those agreements, because you're going to set terms and so on? So does the local government function at an ability so that the communication is there?
Yes, look, we've got our revenue collection teams. We've got everything in place. When we follow due process, it takes time. For us to get to this situation, it meant we would have sent out notices to our debtors over a long period, encouraging them to pay what is due to the city. And after they've turned down all our requests, this is the measure that is allowed to the city to ensure that the revenue due to the city is collected. So if there's problems in a business, what they need to do is approach the city, come to the city, say, this is our financial circumstances. We are willing to enter into a reasonable debt payment agreement. But you can't just say, hey, this is all I can afford to pay you. You must be satisfied with that. It cannot work that way, because we're going to end up with a debtors book that's going to balloon to over 20 billion rand, which is not sustainable for the city.